Good morning. How are you? It's Wanda. Welcome back to my channel. Okay. I guess you all know when you have not given God his due praise because you got to think about it in the middle of the day. Your day ain't going right. So I advise you to stop at that moment and thank God for waking up this morning. Give him his honor and his praise. Worship him. I don't care if you got to go in the bathroom, go in the stall, and sing a little something, do a prayer, do whatever you got to do. But anyway, I'm coming to you all because the other day I admitted that I was in a relationship that where I endured physical, no, not physical, but mental and verbal abuse. Yes. Um I allowed that person to control me. Like I said, at that time, we weren't taught self love, self respect. We heard of those words growing up, but it's not until after that I got sick and came back home, or put like this, I was brought back home to get better. I did not return to the scene of the crime. I did not. But that's where I began my healing journey, my self discovery of self love and respect for myself. Um, I basically allowed this person to try to change me. You know what? Nothing was wrong with me. I wanted I wanted him. I met him in college and he was my first love. Yeah, he was. But I wanted to be with him because we had broken up after college and we got back together. And I'm thinking, wow, this is our second chance, to be together. That person, shortly after he moved in with me, I noticed some changes in him. Um, he moved from another state back to live with me, and I started noticing changes and and things like that, and we were getting into verbal disagreements. And I'm like, wow, man, I didn't like and do this in my other relationship with that I was in with somebody, you know. So I'm like, wow. So sometimes I would just leave my apartment and just either spend longer at work or go to work on the weekends. Where at that time I worked Monday through Friday. I would just go to work on the weekends, one to get caught up. I went behind, but I would just go to escape the living conditions that I was in. I'll say that. But I allowed this person to try to change me to what he wanted. He cheated on me many times. I I'm not gonna. I didn't catch him. I online. One day I came home from work. He wasn't there. I think he was off that day. But I just happened to something just told me to look at the computer screen. I went over. It was his birthday. He had made arrangements to meet up with somebody. So I confronted him, and boy, I cried, I threw glass. Yes, I get a little violent, but I broke wine glasses, and but like I said, that was the wrong relationship to be in. I allowed him to control me, to try to change me, to make me what he wanted, but in all the times that he had cheated on me, I I looked at these women. I'm like, you want me to be smaller? Like I said, I was 5'3", like 110, probably a size 14 because I'm wide in the hips. But brother was dating bigger women. I mean, plus size women. I ain't knocking y'all, but I'm just saying, he's trying to change me to be this model. Whereas every time I find out that he's been cheating is with someone bigger. I'm like, okay, goodness, whatever. But and for your Debs and Bows, you young ladies, this is kind of directed at you. We have lived, your parents and your aunties and your uncles have lived the life that you're trying to live. We're only trying to protect you, to keep you from making the same mistakes that we have made. Okay, that's all it is. We're not trying to tell you how to live your life. We're just trying to give you advice on how. We just don't want you to make the same mistakes that we made. Like I said, this guy was trying to change me to be what he wanted me to be, and he wasn't gonna marry me unless I was in a size 3, 4, and all like that. I was a size 7, okay, and I was physically active. You know, I worked out in the gym, you know, and I was toned. I was very toned. This is the biggest I've ever been. And I'm not big. This is the biggest I've been in all my life, you know. But I allowed that relationship to go on while, and I'm going to tell you this, never uproot yourself to go be with somebody. Let them come to you. Y'all live apart. Be like Judge told us, say, date. Date for a year or two. Get to know that person. You know, I allowed him to move in with me. He moved all his stuff into my 1-bedroom apartment. Yes, he did. But like I said, I allowed him to change me, and I shouldn't have. You know, because like I said, I didn't love myself. I didn't have respect enough for myself to not tolerate that, you know, from him, you know. And we lived a normal relationship. But he evidently wasn't happy. He wasn't man enough to say that he wasn't happy in the relationship. And hey, you can pack your bags and leave. But I uprooted myself for him. I moved across the country to the West Coast pretty much. I left my apartment. I left furniture in my apartment. We took what we could in my car. We took what we could in my car. All that we couldn't take, like a bed. We left. I left. Ain't no we, because I paid for it, because he moved in with me. I left furniture. Some of it I sent home to my mom, but the majority I left. You hear me? And like I say, on that day when I set out to move to be with this guy, I ain't doing nothing but trouble the whole way. The whole way, y'all. That was God telling me, no, my daughter, you don't need to go. I left a job. I left a very good paying job to go to be with this guy. And my supervisor had never met him, but evidently, you know, word got to her from other people on my job. She was like, if you ever want your job back, she should just call me and let me know. So, like I said, we endured challenges along the way on that road trip to my new living destination. Okay. Got there thinking all hunky-dory, we in a new place in Yahoo. You know, I'm happy. I found me a job because he had a job already. So, but basically, like I say, I allowed this person to treat me like that, and I wasn't woman enough. I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't confident enough to stand up to him and tell him no. But you know what? I was raised up in the church, and I used to cry, and I used to pray to God to ask him to get me about the situation. Those opportunities came and went. I was too blind to see, because I'm thinking, yes, I'm in love, but like I said, the signs were there. The red flags were there. I just chose to ignore them. God humbled me to the point where I got sick. I had a stroke at the age of 29, and I had to be brought back home to heal, to start that journey of my life. Oh, I came home with nothing but what my mom packed for me in a suitcase. This dude was not willing to accommodate my mom and give her a 3-piece luggage and pack my clothes. My mom got what she could while he was at work, because she stayed in our apartment while I was in the hospital. So, he was low down, I'm gonna be honest. But I'm gonna tell you this story. I had a young lady on my job to come to me one day and said she wanted to get some rings. I was like, okay, well, you know, I'm thinking to myself, she looks very, very young. I'm like, okay, like what's the occasion? She was like, my boyfriend, you know, he wants to buy me a ring. She said, I said, well, first you need to get sized. I'm like, do you know what size you are? She was like, no. So I'm like, okay. So I sized her. And I'm like, okay. She was like, you know, her boyfriend wanted to buy her a ring. And some came to me. I asked how old she was, and she told me. And I was like, how long have y'all been dating? Hadn't been dating a couple of years, not even a year, y'all. Just about, let's say, 90 days. I said, well, did you run this by your parents? She said, yeah, I ran this by my daddy. And I said, what did he say? He don't think I should. I said, young lady, I'm going to tell you something. I said, I was in a situation similar to yours, and I'm going to tell you nothing. I'm going to tell you something. Something just came over me, like right here, right now. God told me to tell you no. Don't allow this guy to buy you a ring. I said, let your daddy or your mom buy you a ring. I said, for all that matters, you could buy yourself your own ring. I said, you can get yourself a little simple promise ring cheap. You got a ring on your finger. You put it on there, not this guy. I said, you too young. You don't know him. Y'all haven't dated long enough. So don't allow anybody to come in and try to change you to what they want. Be strong enough. Be confident enough and stand up and walk away from this situation if you have to, because something is really wrong with that person. I promise you something is wrong. We're just not seeing the flags. You're so in love with this person that those flags are there. You're just ignoring them. And like I said, we're trying to tell you. You think we're just trying to tell you what to do and all like that. And I thought the same thing with my mom. I'm like, my mom don't like this guy. She didn't like him at all. And there was a reason, and she was right. In the end, my mama was right, y'all. We may not want to admit that, but my mom was right. She was right. She was so right about this person. But God humbled me. God answered my prayers many times, many times. But I guess God was like, this girl is being hard-headed. Like I said, I ended up having a stroke. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was completely healthy. I had basically an aneurysm. I did. With everything that I was going through, all the different physical signs that I was being given, I never sought to seek medical attention. I didn't. I was just stubborn in my own self, But I just want you all to, like I said, this is for the girls and the guys, to take time out to find out who you are. Set your standards for what you will and will not take. But I tell you something, you don't deserve nothing less. You understand? I'm for real. You don't deserve nothing less but the best. You are God's gift to whomever gets your hand in marriage. And yes, I do mean marriage. I do mean marriage. But if you all do decide to date, live apart, get to know these people, and put the timeline together. And observe. Just sit back and observe. Read the room. Observe this person's behavior, their comings and goings, things like that. When you haven't heard from this person, it's a reason. They're cheating. But I'm just gonna say, heed your parents' advice, your aunts and your uncles and your grandparents. They're wise. Like I said, you're trying to live the life we've lived. We've lived. You understand? So we're not going to tell you nothing wrong. We're going to tell you what we went through. Yeah, I heard that story through Uncle such and such and Grandma this and that. But it's true. We're trying to tell you. We're not trying to tell you what to do. You got to go out there and bump your head. We understand. But we're just trying to spare you. We're trying to spare you from getting hurt. We're trying to spare you from the physical abuse. We're trying to spare you from that mental and verbal abuse that you don't have to endure. Our relatives or our friends and things see things that you don't. Pay attention, people. I promise you, just pay attention. And in regards to, like I say, don't uproot yourself to go be with somebody. Let them come and be near you. Live apart from them. You keep your own living space. They keep theirs, because if all else fails, you still got yours. You don't have to lose nothing. Even though all this stuff that we are living with is materialistic, you don't have to worry about figuring, where I'm going to go, and I got to leave this, and that, and I can only leave with the shirt on my back, me and my kids, or whatever. I don't care. Live apart. You keep yours, and he keep his. You understand? I'm telling you from what I went through. I left a whole apartment behind for somebody else, because I want to be with this person. And in the end, it was never meant to be from day one. You understand? I was giving red flags in college. I was giving red flags after we got back together the second time. I chose to ignore it because I wanted to see would it work. And you know what? It didn't. It didn't work. I ain't got married, and that was so long ago. I'm married now. And have happily been married now for this is gonna be year 13, y'all. Year 13, and I'm loving it each and every day. Yeah, marriage has its challenges and things like that, but that's okay. That's life. But do keep God as the head of your life. I promise you, and He is your best friend. Aside from your parents, if you feel like that you can't go and talk to nobody else, God is there. God, if you have that relationship with God, God gonna tell you what to do. You just gotta be ready for it. God is not gonna steer you wrong. You know it. God is not gonna steer you wrong at all, people. My young ladies and my guys. God is not gonna steer you wrong. Have that relationship with Him. Have that one-on-one. Get to know Him. Because I could have been spared. Love you. We all love you. Your parents, your grandparents. I wouldn't tell you nothing wrong. But do have that relationship with God, you know, and be on one accord with Him, because He's going to tell you what to do. He's going to guide you every step. He's going to tell you, yes, this is right. No, yes or no. You got to be aware. You got to be aware, okay? But that's my word of advice for you today, you know. And I hope y'all have a blessed day. You hear? Okay. Love you.